So, as you guys probably know, I'm working my way through the Heroes of Olympus series now. I finished Percy Jackson. I read the first book of the Kane Chronicles. Wasn't quite as into it. I needed me some Percy. So I switched back to the Percy type stories and started Heroes of Olympus. Bought all the rest of the books that I needed in one go because I have no self-control, as you know. And I have finished the first 2 books. Was reading really fast this past week, and as soon as the first book ended, I had to find out about the second because of that ending. So I'm probably going to need to film both of them within the next 24 hours so that I'm not so far into Mark of Athena that I forget the significance of the first 2 books. So The Lost Hero. The Lost Hero was an incredible read. This is a real step up as far as the character development and like behavior versus Percy Jackson, simply because in Percy Jackson they all are younger, and because of that, obviously Percy Jackson is geared toward a younger audience. I think this is more high school geared, which is nice. Like the reading feels a little nicer. I really liked Percy Jackson writing style, but this felt like it was a little closer to my age group. And the characters' attachments to each other are a lot cuter now. Now that they're like 15, 16, it's not just like a, ooh, pretty girl, I want to kiss her. It's like a, let's figure out if we want to have a relationship or not. I like it. The issue I had with this book was that there's no Percy. I thought since I was going back to a Greek mythology series that I'd immediately get Percy back. Nope. This is just a fair warning. It is worth it to move on. I went on to the second book immediately to figure that out. It is worth it. And the characters in this book, you learn to appreciate more and more with each book. I only didn't appreciate them as much in this book because I was frustrated that we were being introduced to 3 entirely new characters. Sorry, my computer's going off. We were introduced to 3 entirely new characters without getting any idea of what happened to the other ones. We're ending the non-spoiler part. Let's talk about some of the spoilers. We open up with Jason on a bus with supposedly his two friends, Piper and Leo. Leo is my baby. I love him so much. I don't know why he doesn't get the spotlight like Jason does. I love him. Anyways, Jason, Piper, and Leo are on this bus, and Jason doesn't remember a thing. He doesn't remember getting on the bus. He doesn't remember who Piper and Leo are, which is upsetting because Piper has had like 6 months of romance with him, or so she thinks. And Leo has been friends with him about that same amount of time as well. Come to find out, that was all just an illusion based on the mist, which I didn't know the mist could work on demigods as well. I guess it can. Maybe I missed that in the first series. Of course, as with all Rick Riordan books, we're immediately jumping into action. The bus is attacked by a storm spirit, which Jason and the coach ends up being a satyr, and he and Jason have to fight it off. They end up at Camp Half-Blood, and we see some familiar faces. We see Annabeth, thank goodness. Thank goodness I see somebody that I know. But we don't get to focus on Annabeth. It's from 3 different point of views, and they're all 3 of the new demigods. At first, they were a bit of a struggle just because it's all new people, but I really love them now, and Leo is like my favorite character to get into. But this book did not disappoint as far as just the pace and the story and the characters and just all these new things that we're learning. And the fact that Jason is weirdly understanding Roman gods but not Greek gods, Roman names but not Greek names. And you slowly start to piece together throughout the book that Jason is definitely not Greek. And that, in fact, there is a whole other camp for Roman demigods. Much like Camp Half-Blood, a little more sophisticated and war-ish, because that's what the Romans were like apparently. But still a very similar concept with lots more demigods to meet. And I'm so excited about that. The ending to this book, oh my gosh, I was thrown through a loop. I wasn't expecting it at all. I don't know why either, because if you think about it, it makes sense. If Jason shows up out of nowhere the same time that Percy disappeared, or around the same time, doesn't remember anything, is from a Roman camp, then of course Percy is probably at the Roman camp, also brain dead. also having to meet new people and figure out new things, also eventually learning that their two camps are separate and need to come together. And I think it's so cool how well that was wrapped up at the end. Oh my gosh. This is why I had to start the second book. Another thing I loved about this book was Leo, everything about Leo really, but Leo's like pet / machine Festus. Oh my gosh, the coolest thing ever. I was so mad when they get thrown out of the sky twice in one book. It's so funny. I was disappointed when I started this book that I had to go from these point of views, and now that I've started the second book, I kind of miss these people, which is so weird, especially because in the second book, I now have Percy back. But Percy's obviously all confused, so there's that. I don't want to spoil anything for the second book, obviously. We're just talking about the first book in this video. But I highly, highly recommend this series. If you've read Percy Jackson, or if you haven't read Percy Jackson, they're good about summing things up in this. Whenever they refer back to different characters, different events from the original timeline, they will explain it. So you honestly don't have to read the first series to know, but also you'd understand a lot more and get a lot of the sort of hints if you've read the first series. Either way, you should pick this up. It's really fun. They're all 16-ish now, so it doesn't feel like you're just following a bunch of middle schoolers, which there was no problem with that, but I feel like I can relate to the characters more now. And I'm so excited to have Percy back. That's for the next video. That is for the video for the second book. So I'm just gonna go ahead and wrap this up because I'm obviously all in the headspace of the second book right now. But yes, this one was incredible. As I said earlier, the covers always have exactly the correct imagery for the book. It's an awesome ride, awesome characters. Piper is awesome, Leo is awesome, Jason's alright, you know. I don't know why he's the main character, but I saw a lot of YouTubers say that they like hated Jason when they read this. I don't hate it. He's a cool guy, but he's not Leo. I like Leo. All the girls like Jason for some reason. It's the blonde hair, isn't it? I'm gonna stop rambling. Pick up this book. I don't care how old you are. You can't grow out of this. I went to the gas station the other day and I was wearing a Lion King shirt and I was listening to this on audiobook. And the lady at the desk was like, "Oh, you're still into the Lion King and all those Disney movies and stuff." And I was like, and I'm also listening to a children's book. I don't know why I'm telling you this story. Hope you guys have a fantastic week, and I will see you next week, probably talking about the second book to this series. Until then, I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Bye!